Do you ever start to feel completely bored with your hair, but you have absolutely no idea what to do with it? In this video, I'm going to give you multiple different ideas to look into when you're feeling stuck with your hair, ranging from super simple shifts that you can do yourself from home 100% for free, all the way up to massive transformations. So I'm going to break these down into 5 separate categories, and if it's easier, you can flip through the chapters to find something that catches your attention for a change that you'd like to make. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is trying out new products. Believe it or not, sometimes just switching the brand of shampoo you're using can make the world of a difference. Your hair gets used to the same products that are used on a regular basis, and sometimes your hair can just become a little dull or lifeless and lack volume if you don't switch it up. Now, this could mean trying out a new product like a texture spray or something you've never used before, or it could mean using the same types of products that you're using, just in a different brand. For me personally, I actually like to switch up the brand of shampoo that I'm using every time I get another one, and this is to try out new products to find ones I might actually like more than the last one, as well as switch it up for my hair. All right, and the next one is to try out new hairstyles. And this is something that you can do yourself from home completely for free. Now, my absolute favorite way to do this is to actually switch where I have my hair parted. It is so crazy at how just changing your part can drastically change the look and feel of your hair. If you've been wearing your hair parted in the same place all the time, I highly recommend switching it to a different spot. Now, aside from switching your part, look around on Pinterest and try out some new ways to wear your hair. Now, I'm not a huge advocate for buns or high ponies, but there's a ton of different things that you can do with wearing your hair half up or even playing around with some braids. All right, next, let's talk about how you can switch up your haircut. Now, since our hair grows 1/4 to 1/2 inch a month, it can actually get out of shape pretty quickly. And not that growing it longer is a bad thing, but it will often just kind of lose its style if it isn't regularly maintained. So aside from a totally new haircut or a hefty trim just to clean up your ends, some other things that you can try are bangs, face framing, or adding some new layers in there. This is actually the shift that I did this season. If you watched my previous video where I gave myself curtain bangs, which are these face framing pieces here. Now, if your hair is starting to feel really heavy or just weighed down all over, then I recommend trying out some layers. Layers and texturizing can remove bulk and add movement to your hair to give you a little bit more volume so it's not just laying there lifeless. All right, now let's talk about what to do if you're feeling bored with your color. Now, changing your color does not always have to be something completely drastic. In fact, I actually don't recommend doing a super drastic change with your color because, for one, it's normally harder on your hair, and second of all, it can also be very shocking, which might mean that you don't like it, rather than if you had just done a gradual process, it would give you a little bit more time for it to grow on you.
As I'm going through and editing, I wanted to touch on this a little bit further and add that most people that color their blonde hair darker end up regretting it because the color will not stay the same and it normally fades brassy or dingy and muddy. Now, I do have videos on both going lighter as well as going darker if you're still interested in doing that, and I will link both of those above.
So instead of doing a super drastic change, you could either do some highlights, a balayage, or try a semi-permanent color. This way, if you don't like it, you aren't stuck with it. And these are really easy to do yourself from home without much risk because they fade completely out of the hair. I often use color toning conditioners on this channel, and I'll link my favorites in the description below. All right, and the last one, if you don't want to change your color and you don't want to go any shorter, something you can do is experiment with extensions. Extensions can add length, fullness, or alter the color of your hair without the damage. Now, there's 2 types of extensions. There's temporary extensions and there's permanent extensions. Permanent extensions are the ones that you get done in the hair salon that are permanently installed into your hair, and these are very expensive. Temporary extensions are extensions that you put in yourself and you take them out every day. If you've never done extensions before, I highly recommend going with the temporary extension route first. And my favorite temporary extensions are halos.
These are attached to a thin wire that sits on your head like a headband.
They're also a little easier on your hair than clip-ins are, as I've actually seen the clip-ins cause bald spots on people's head. So because of this, clip-ins are not my go-to recommendation. Now, I still recommend having your stylist or somebody checking the halo when it's in your hair just to make sure it's all blending out properly. You may have to have it cut a little bit in certain areas just so it all flows. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Let me know in the comments if you're gonna try out any of these ideas. And make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day.